Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to this video. There is a lot of information coming in now and a lot of physical changes in the body. So I've been guided to do a video now on some of the physical changes and just a bit of what I have had coming in channelings regarding the physical changes over the last days. I have to admit there's a lot of this information that I've been receiving in channelings that are way over my head at the moment. But I've been very specifically told what to share at this point, and it's absolutely fascinating and interesting. And I'm really looking forward to get more of this information and have more of understanding of it as it keeps unfolding. And I also would love to hear what you guys are experiencing these days. It's, for me, the nature and really grounding in is like it's really getting me through the days. Drinking lots of water, a lot of resting, because there's so much happening now. I've also been given a visualization that we can use like as an exercise to really activate the self-healing process in the body, and to really use it both on physical, emotional, mental, like whatever area it is that comes from within. So I will share that in this video. I've been receiving information about teleportation. I have myself had some experiences over the last couple of months, I think 2-3 months maybe, where I'm suddenly like feeling something physically, like I'm inside in my, where I live, and I'm suddenly like feeling grass between my hands all of a sudden, or like hearing sounds that I think is something different, which would not be in the environment where I'm living, not in the country where I'm living. And it's like this recognition of what it would be, and then immediately also, of course, an understanding that that's not what it is, because that's not where I physically am at. What I have been shown, because I had these experiences like on and off, and I've been shown that this is a start of the experience of physical teleportation. So if anyone are having these kind of experiences that feels really, a new level of weirdness or craziness, that's what it is. It's actually, it feels like a physical contact with another physical place on the earth, very different than out-of-body experience or astral traveling, because it's actually physical. And they're just like, I don't understand like the fullness of it, but what I've been told is that it's a start of that, and that's sort of how many people will experience the process of that unfolding. As so many other things, it's almost like it's, you just go through a process and you feel more and more of it, and it starts happening. I have no idea of how long that process is, how it's going to unfold or anything. I only know what I just shared, but they told me to share this because there are other people also experiencing this. And as we have experienced so many times before, it's always good to hear that there are others out there having these experiences and some sort of understanding of what it actually is. So there's nothing crazy about you if you have that experience. The other thing is what's happening in the cells currently. So we are embodying more and more of our light, and I've been talking about this in previous videos. That's our consciousness, that's our light, and we have this columnar light going down. It's almost like a multidimensional spine, almost, you can imagine. It's like this column of light, and it's multidimensional in and of itself. Like it's light, but it's sort of like what keeps us up and alive, because it's what we are creating the body around and what we are incarnating around. This light, we are embodying it more and more and more, which means that we are bringing more, like a higher percentage, you can imagine, of this light in our bodies. That create changes in the body, because this light is of a much higher frequency than our physical bodies, and we are ascending, right, which is happening in the body, which means that the physical body is rising in frequency. And this is very much connected with holding more of that light, coming back into the body, grounding it in, rather than going out of the body or thinking that all help or all guidance or everything is out there. We are actually receiving more and more of it in the body, which is why a lot of what I'm talking about also, it's like coming back to empowerment, because if we are not standing in our own empowered energy, our own truth, it's much more difficult also to feel the guidance, because we're feeling it more and more physically, because we are accessing more of it in our body. Now, in the cells, what they have showed me is that it's almost like light bulbs, how they showed me a few days ago. And when I saw all these cells around in the body, it was like zoomed in on some cells, and then it started lighting up, like one and one, then another one, and then another one over here, and another one over here, and here, and then when it had lit up, I saw that the whole cell started changing, and it started to look more and more like a crystal, a very clear, beautiful crystal. And then when this turned into this crystal, and it was different facets of different types of cells, the way they showed it to me, it would reflect light in different ways depending on what type of cell it was, because of the way it was, the facets of it. What they showed me that is very important now is to start to consciously interact with ourselves, to consciously connect with ourselves, to consciously turn this light on. Because when a light bulb is being lit, we can come in and we will help ourselves a lot and this process a lot by going into this to this cell, connecting in. You can just imagine this and visualize it, or you can just talk to yourself, like put the intention and you're actually doing it, right? So going into this cell and imagine or visualize like a light bulb, or it's just like this circle that is the cell. Like you don't need to know specifically how the cell is built up. Just imagine like a light bulb, for example, and it's like, and there it's lit, and then you start seeing it as a crystal, or you just see something like a ball and it's suddenly lit up and it looks like a crystal, or however works for you. Just see this something that is representing the cell and see it start lightening up, and then see it start shifting into a crystal. Because by this you're actually helping the body, is what I showed me, in this process. Because when it's lit up, if we consciously work with it, this process into turning it into a crystal is going faster. And it's almost like a domino effect. And the key, they said, because they also told me this, that we can start using this in our self-healing and in our processes. So by imagining then that this, if you see a crystal and or you see a diamond or like whatever you just, which is a crystal, but whatever you can really have a clear picture of, type of crystal, very clear and many facets, and you're just turning it around and you see like the sun, for example, like it's reflecting the sun, and you can see on the wall, for example, where the light is hitting. So imagine that your cell is one of these crystals, and as you start turning this around, the light is shining out in different places. Now this light that is shining out is of a very, very high frequency. This light that is shining out of your cells, that you're bringing in through your cells now, is something that can really, really activate your own healing, physically, emotionally, mentally. And the key, they said, to really make clear in sharing this is that light is neutral. It is not about going in and I want to change this. And that's where the challenge is for many of us, right? Because it can be a physical pain, or it can be an emotional pain, or something that keeps coming up, or it can be, anxiety, or whatever you want to heal or change. We have this idea that we want to go in and change it because we have resistance to it, and that's the challenge for us. We have to come out and release that resistance, and accept it, that it's there, and then we can use this light because it's neutral. We will not access the full use of it if we are connecting into this light and imagining we're like turning this crystal around and we're shining out our own light through this crystal, turning in our body and reflecting that light to a place in the body. We're not doing that if we are projecting a thought into it. Because if you have like an expectation that, this pain I have, or this challenge I have, or this emotion I want to get rid of, I just shine this light on it and I'm going to get rid of it because it's bad, then we're not using it in a neutral way. So that will not enhance the power of it like it will if we are actually staying in that neutral space, because that light is neutral. So when we're turning that crystal around and we're reflecting that light that is our consciousness out in the body, or to that emotion, or to that thought pattern, trying to come into that neutral space. And this can be easier in this exercise than if we're coming to it from our thoughts, or from that space that we often come into some sort of a healing or transformation with, because it's almost like you can put this cell, like you can hold this cell, you can envision like one cell, one crystal, and you can, like, that one is neutral. Even though I am not normally able to hold that neutrality with a challenge I'm going through, I can connect with and understand and envision that this crystal and the light shining through it is actually neutral. And by connecting into that, we can more easily let go of that resistance. So these are the steps they showed me. And then using that, and then take that emotion, or take that physical pain, or take that dis-ease in the body, or take that thought pattern take that wound, whatever it is that you want to work on, and hold that, like take it out. Okay, here is it. I have this cell. I'm connecting in. I'm breathing into my body. I'm staying in my body all the time. I'm finding this one cell, and I'm envisioning this beautiful, beautiful crystal, and I'm turning it around, and there's just like sun shining on it, and I see these rays just coming to in a neutral energy onto whatever I have sort of taken out that I want to work on. So you can imagine just taking it out. Here I have the emotion or the dis-ease or the thought pattern or whatever it is. Here I have the crystal, and I'm turning it around, and it's shining on it in a neutral energy, which helps alchemizing it. They're saying that there is a whole new level of alchemy that we are learning, and really playing with this and going into it and with curiosity. Because what I've said is that every person has to learn their own alchemy, because it's different. Even though it's like this visualization can be helpful, and this is how they have showed it to me. You will find when you practice this that there are like, maybe you suddenly see something, or you feel like a slightly different way, or you want to hold it inside your body, or you want to hold it outside your body, or you want to go from the column, or you like all these like small things. Just pay attention to how it unfolds and what feels right for you, and trust that, because the alchemy will be slightly different for different people. But this is like the core sort of outline that they gave me, to start consciously work with the cells, because the cells are shifting, and we can really help them shifting in actually going to work and start using them. Because then they, one cell starts turning, then another one starts turning, and it's sort of like a domino, because they're activating each other. And when we go consciously in and start working with it, and start being curious about it and working with it, and like there's something more being activated in my body. How does this work? How does my body work now? It's different. It's changing. If we can go and meet it with that energy and with that sort of mindset, I think we can get surprised. I think we can learn a lot, and discover new things. And I think this is really, really exciting. They're also in a channeling a few days ago, they started explaining about this like vibrational medicine, and then sort of expanded meridian system. They started to explain me a bit about, and also the like frequency and sound, how much more what's the right word, like how much better that will actually work now with these changes that are happening in our cells, because it will, like the vibration in the cells will be different, and it will respond quicker to these kind of things. So it's really, really interesting. Still a lot to understand. But I hope this can be helpful for you, that this visualization can be of use for you. And imagine this, that they showed me also the same thing with other people. Like if there's people in your life that are struggling with something, or there is someone sort of, having a breakdown, or there's even, a city or a country or an animal or whatever that you want to assist, that we can do it the same way. And what is important, same way as in putting a light around them. but not in a way of I am changing you, or I am projecting my idea of how something should be onto you. That is interfering with someone's sovereign field. That is that's not okay. So going in and like, if what they're saying is like an expectation is actually a projection, because, and that's why they often use creation rather than manifestation when they are explaining me these kind of things, because to manifest something has become, I mean, it's only a matter of linguistics, but what I've explained me is that it's the, like when people are using the word manifest, it's very often because the way we have learned to do it, which is totally fine, because we need to learn things step by step, and we are growing, and then we don't maybe need all those steps, and we are rising in frequency, so we can do things in different ways. But anyways, like what we learned and what was sort of programmed was this like step by step by step, and we have this firm idea of how we want, like I want to manifest that, and it's going to look like this, and it's going to be like this, and if we are attached to that as an expectation that it's going to be in that specific way, we are actually projecting a thought rather than creating. So when we're stepping into the creation, we are letting go of that expectation. We are creating it. We are playing with the energy. We are actually, we are accessing our own power of creation and putting it out there. But we are also stepping back, detaching from it, and seeing what is, you know, what the universe is putting together, so to speak, and how it can so often be much better than what we expect. But the expectation in and of itself is energetically like a projection of a thought, and that's not what we want to create with. And so it's the same with another person. If there are, so what I said is that this same neutrality that you come with when you're using the light in your cells, if there are people that are sort of falling down in some sort of way, what you can do is that you can imagine this neutral light around them. So that has nothing to do with your own perception of something, whether they've done something right or something wrong, quote unquote, or if it's something that you think that, oh, it would be much better for this person if things were like this, or if they could just change this and this, it would be much easier for them, because all of that is from your own perspective, and that would be a projection. That would be a step overstepping a personal boundary. Even though it's coming from a good intention in you, energetically, it's overstepping the sovereignty. And so if there is someone you want to assist, or you see that are struggling or whatever, you can imagine this light around them, and in the same neutrality as you imagine this light in yourselves, because that's a key. Because in that neutrality there's no projection. So take like a step back with, like I put my personality and my ego, and like I put all of this and all my perceptions and ideas. I take a step back, take that out of the picture. I come to my heart space. I really want to assist. I know I can access this neutral light, and so I put the attention of this light, which is neutral, around for assistance, and then I step back. That's how they showed it to me. So I hope this is helpful for you. I would love to hear in the comments if this resonates, if you have experienced anything like this, and also how you're experiencing the energies now. It's also helpful for me to know how you guys are are experiencing things, and what I might be able to assist with the information I receive. And as always, you take what resonates and you leave the rest. I hope you're doing well. Sending so much love to everyone, and I wish you a beautiful day. See you in the next video. Bye bye.